Alright, so as you might know, I recently did a poll on the GST Facebook page about whether or not you'd like to see videos on different rep schemes and the benefits to those different rep schemes. The majority was a resounding yes, and so this is my first video which is going to detail the benefits and reasonings behind incorporating high rep sets into your training routine. When I say high rep sets, I'm talking about sets that include 15 or more reps. The first reason behind high reps is increasing muscular endurance or athletic conditioning levels. Regardless of the exercise, when you're performing a high rep set, what you're going to be doing is increasing your overall time under tension. That simply happens because each rep takes time and you're performing a high number of reps, so the time under tension is going to increase versus a low rep set or a medium rep set. What's going to happen as a result of this extreme time under tension is you're going to increase your muscular endurance slash athletic conditioning. Those are just different terms for essentially the same thing. You can perform a strenuous activity for longer if you practice that activity for longer. It's simple, but it's true. If you want to get good at something, do more of it. So what's going to happen as a result of using high reps in your training routine on a regular basis is you're going to be able to perform a strenuous activity for a longer period of time, and that's going to transfer over to a larger workload capacity in the weight room and an increased performance on the playing field. So it only stands to reason that if you want to increase your ability to perform more effectively in the gym, you need to incorporate high rep sets. They're going to increase that workload capacity, and they're going to allow you to really push through exercises that demand a lot of you, and they demand a lot of you over an increased period of time. So high reps have their place in increasing muscular endurance or athletic conditioning. Another important point about high rep sets is the fact that they're going to help you build up an increased tolerance to the pain or the burn of lactic acid buildup that's associated with weight training or medium or high rep training. What's actually happening when you're performing a high rep set within your muscle is you're increasing the lactic acid levels within that muscle. Now, lactic acid is what's responsible for producing that burning feeling. That's a feeling that's rather unpleasant. However, it's part of training and you need to get used to it. You need to build up a tolerance to it, because if you don't, you'll stop when the burn happens. You won't stop because you have to, because your muscles are failing. In terms of lactic acid, what actually happens during a high rep set is your body is unable to remove the lactic acid that's produced as a byproduct of energy production. The amount of lactic acid in the muscle continues to build as long as you don't take any rest. So if you're performing 20 reps, the lactic acid burn is going to increase and increase and increase because your body simply can't remove it fast enough. Your body produces it quicker than it can remove it. Once you rest, of course, your body can remove it faster than it's being produced, because during rest, it's not being produced, it's just being removed. But when you're performing a high rep set, the increase in lactic acid produces that burn, and that burn is painful. And that's something that you really want to learn to tolerate. You want to be able to endure through that pain, because if you don't, you're constantly going to be stopping because of the burn rather than because you actually have to, due to near muscle failure or actual muscle failure. You want to be able to stop your sets when you hit your reps that you're shooting for, or because your muscles fail. You don't want to have to stop your sets because of the burn. Stopping because of the burn is selling yourself short, and increasing that tolerance for the burn through high rep training is a great way to overcome that possibility that you're going to sell yourself short in the gym. So now we have two reasons knocked out that support high rep training. Let's get on to a third reason, which I feel is very, very important. It's a reason that most people don't commonly think about or talk about when they're going over the benefits to high rep training. And it actually has to do with enhancing the mind-muscle connection. Even though the burn seems like an annoyance, I prefer to use the burn for anything positive, because it's going to be there, and if you can turn it into something positive, why not? What I'd like to ask you is if you can individually focus on a specific muscle group during an exercise. Can you actually feel the muscle that you're supposed to be working? Can you actually purposefully flex that muscle whenever you want to, not even during training, just sitting there right now? Can you flex your pec? Can you flex your bicep? And can you only flex those muscle groups that you're trying to target? In my opinion, if you can feel a muscle group working, it's a lot more effective or easier to learn than if you just read about what muscle you're supposed to be working during a particular exercise. Knowing is one thing, but feeling is another. And the burn that's produced from a nice, long, high rep set is going to actually allow you to feel the muscle that you're working, and the muscle that you're supposed to be thinking about becomes easier to think about simply because you feel it. There's a sensation there, and that's a real sensation that is easy to focus on, and you can highly benefit from high rep training in that aspect. Increasing your mind muscle connection has great benefits. You'll feel leaps and bounds above the guy next to you who's simply going through the motions. You'll be able to think about the muscle that's being worked. You'll be able to purposefully flex it, and that's going to help you feel so much more connected to the weight that you're holding, and you will get more out of your workouts. The mind muscle connection is a real thing, and high rep training is only going to help to increase it. Now, of course, high reps are not the only rep scheme that you should be using in your training program. Whatever the training program is, I simply don't believe in using only one number of reps. Basing a program around a single rep scheme is not as beneficial as basing it around multiple rep schemes. In my next video, I plan to talk about the medium rep range, which is typically known as the growth range, the range that actually induces the production of new lean mass. And this is many people's favorite rep range because most people lift weights to get bigger. Most people also lift weights to get stronger, and getting bigger and stronger is typically the number one priority. Even though those priorities reign high on the totem pole, don't forget high reps, because as I went over, there's 3 very, very, very important reasons for incorporating them into your training program. And you should use them. The next time you're in the gym, think about the 3 reasons that I went over in this video. Put those reasons to use in the gym for you, benefit from those reasons, and comment below on your experience. Simply put, keep getting good workouts in, train hard, train smart, and grow.